this UI here from Genshin Impact, and we're going to try and sort of mimic a bit of that. At least show you the ground of how you might create something like this. So let's just deconstruct it a little bit. We've got this watermark up here, in the top corner, that strikes my attention. Obviously we've got this nav bar along the top. We've got some points. And I'm guessing this is the label of where we are, inventory and weapons. We've obviously got an item selected, all these item cards. We've got arrows left and right, which seems to suggest maybe we can navigate these pages with the left and right, or maybe it toggles through sections within the inventory. And then you've got this item selected, the detail on the item, readouts of quantity, an ability to throw something out. Okay, well, let's get into it. So normally you'd receive a wireframe or something like this from or the UI would be done for you potentially, or you'd be doing the UI. So I'm going to make this a bit smaller than that one, which was like a QHD. I was looking that up. QHD. It was at 2560 by 1440. So it's a little bit larger. Okay, so in the original we've got this blurred out background. I'm going to leave that off for now. We're just going to work on the basic shapes. Just using the block rectangle tool, we'll just block it out. And a rounded rectangle. We want to make the corners a bit smaller. Okay, so we've got our basic card. And just for the process of completeness, I'm just going to drag those out, holding Alt. I realise I haven't got the keylogger on, so I'm just going to get that on. So hopefully you'll be able to see my keys. So now with all of them selected, I could group them into the top row. How many is it across? More than 4. So the annoying thing is that you don't get this auto align thing by default, so make sure you're showing all your guides. Smart guides should help. Okay, you've got your top row. There's probably too many here, so we'll just delete 1 or 2. We can scale them down and just Alt drag that group. Oh, I got everything. I'll drag just that group. Okay, then you can shift click those two and do the same again. You've got your basic grid and you can instantly see it's taking up too much space. So in UX tools like Adobe XD, there's really nice ways of doing this that just sorts out all the margins and everything for you. Here, if you suddenly decided, oh, I want them a bit closer together, you'd end up having to do all sorts of weird selection, which would be a ball ache. It wouldn't be nice. So these are just rough placements for now. I'd probably want to move these to be a bit more uniform. A nice fast way to do that would be to group all the vector shapes together. So I'm just going to drag them all into the same folder. It's a bit meticulous and stupid. I should have probably done it differently. And now I should be able to select them all, particularly if I group them all together. If I make them all one by Control E, flattens all those into one thing. So now I can actually select them and move the left and right arrows and move them with the left and right arrows. It's not perfect. Adobe XD would do it in a certain way, and it's a bit faster. But for now, I don't actually want to use these. I'm just I'm just arranging them to get an idea of placement. Okay, and these are all empty now, these groups. So it's just I made that part of it as well. I don't want that to be part of it. But anyway, that's all just placeholder stuff for now. So I was getting stuck using the black arrow. It wasn't letting me select the points, but the white arrow does. So I'm going to just cut that, Control X, and paste it. See, okay, it comes up as a path, not rather than a shape. So I'm just going to undo that. Use the pen tool, which I've got caps lock on so you can't see it. Use the pen tool to make one point and then paste it in as a shape and make sure to delete that point. It's really confusing, isn't it? Shapes and paths. When you draw something with the pen tool, make sure you have shape selected. Otherwise you'll draw a path which is useful but not for what we want to be doing. I've got my caps lock on again. Okay. Okay, you get the idea. So for this, I'm guessing you've got Illustrator, so I'm hoping you've got Illustrator. There's a lot of icons on the first one here at the top, so Illustrator is ideal for them. Let's just go through that really quickly. I'm just going to draw a sword. So, because I want my icon to be symmetrical, I'm probably going to sort of draw it one half and then flip it. Anyway. So with icons, you might just want to find a set of icons for now, unless you're really particularly interested in making icons. Noun Project's really good place to get inspiration. If not, just find a set of icons. So this sword, you can see, forms part of a set of similarly treated weapons. That's a bit more detailed than you want, maybe, but you want your icons to have a consistent width and consistent sort of language, so they will work together as a set, basically, because otherwise it won't look right. Okay, Control C, Control F pastes in place in Illustrator. It's a bit weird. It's kind of unnecessarily different, but if you just copy and paste in Illustrator, I think it pastes to the center of the document or something, and so that's always annoying. Okay, so whatever you do, just whatever you want to draw in Illustrator, if you want to just draw with the pen tool, a bit more freestyle, can be a bit confusing having the shape. Okay, you got your sword. So I'm just going to delete that, all those ones. with these two shapes selected, I selected one, obviously, and I right-clicked it. I went to transform and reflect and had a mirrored version of it. So there's probably better ways to do this, but this is how I choose to do it. Go to the shape pathfinder layer and make them one shape when they're both selected. Now copy and just paste that into Photoshop, and it asks you what you want to do with it. For now, I'll make it a shape layer. I'm going to make it white and make it smaller, or it's slightly off-white, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter for now. The point is we can edit it when it's a shape. And I'm just going to duplicate that for now. 139. Let's start that again. Drag that out. Make it 107. Why not? That's a bit stupid as well, but hey. At least it sounds nice. So you've got your placeholder menu, group it, call it something sensible like top nav. Okay, we've got something else involved in our top nav. We want to get rid of that. Drag that down. And we've got our tiles and our info. So items, and this one would be called, I guess, item tiles, and that would be called item info, which is incidentally too big. So using the white arrow again to edit what we're doing. I'm just going to draw some of the basic buttons here. The rounded rectangle. Rounded buttons invite interaction better than square buttons. They don't have to be so exaggeratedly round as this, but they do look nicer to touch. So red in our culture and in like many cultures, you know, it means different things, but red means in road signs and traffic lights stop, and that's fairly universal. So having red for an advanced button, it's normally a warning color. So green or blue or something is more passive or sort of affirmative. It's a good sort of UI convention, you know, that would be. And obviously it would come the time to pick your type of text. I downloaded a font today I want to try out. Not this one. Did I install it? Just checking my downloads. So it's called Kindersley Grand Arcade. So just start filling it out with some placeholder text or whatever items you want. So this had the title of the, Okay, I had Artboard tool selected there, so I was moving the artboard around rather than the view around. I've got some bit of a rogue text layer there. I wanted actually this one. I'll drag that just to the top there, call it whatever the screen name is. They had a sort of nested navigation there, and the font seems a bit dominant up there, a bit too big. I'm going to take that down a peg. Some idea of a capacity. I don't know what the 100 out of 500 might suggest, but credits are often gold, so let's bring the eye to that somehow. I don't know what this data is going on here. I'll get rid of king floating around. What have we got on the other one? Quantity, add a bin, these nice fancy arrows. So it's a lot of just lovely iconography, which takes a bit of time. Like I said, you could go to the Noun project and search, arrows, for example, borrow their style from here. It's not particularly medieval. If you wanted to do medieval, you might be better off going into Illustrator, getting your pen and drawing out some medieval curves. And again, I'm going to flip this. I'm just joining it for now. Alt dragging, right clicking to reflect. So that looks wrong. No. I think I must have clicked rotate. Again, Pathfinder, this little symbol, if you can't find it, it'll be in Windows, Pathfinder. I'm not a massive fan of that arrow. I would probably tweak it quite a bit, but for now, it'll do. For the sake of the tutorial, it'll So on the whole, you want to keep symbols as simple as possible, but I think this game has a bit more flair to it. It's a bit more augmented. So obviously, as I'm starting to build my icons up for this game, I might want to start breaking them into their own artboards. So when it actually comes the time to export them, then they'll all be ready to go, and I can just export them via export for screens and get this, lovely grid of export options up where I can select them to be exported to PNGs, SVGs, and just add multiple scales and different formats in there, so it's really useful to do it that way. So you never know how you're going to need to export them. So, but for now, for the mock-up's sake, you just copy and paste it as a shape layer. Exactly. So I'm getting these proper sort of the need for proper margins here. For some reason I'm having trouble, there you go, selecting both of them. So a lot of UI will be placement. You know, you've got your sort of divisions between the realms, as it were. So any info you have over here, you want to keep it in line with this. Maybe that little button could be off here if you wanted to bring attention to it. But if you wanted it to be in context with these, then it would be best to be in line with these. Depends on the meaning of what the button does. But the standard primary action will be over here at the bottom corner, bottom right. That's the sort of confirmation. You might have some options over here before you confirm. Just got rid of the green dot. I can draw another green dot. So that's not quite round. That's actually going to bug me. So I'll keep it like that. And if I want to do a round one, I'll use a sphere. Not a, yeah, you get it. An ellipse. So paying attention to the placement, the alignment of the buttons. So obviously you'll have to have those conversations about, do we keep it the same as the gap between the tiles, or is it different rule for this bottom section? Kind of go with what feels right for now. So to get into the detail, these are our little panels. I'm just going to select one of them because I only want to work on one for now. I did that thing again. What's easier is just maybe to copy that whole layer, Control J, turn off the old one. I'm going to make this one bright magenta so I can see it and not miss it. Okay, so we've got a black stroke on this, which we don't want. We've got a bright magenta that we don't want. Just going to make it grey. That is not grey. That was pink. Make it a grey for now. And I'm going to drag a version of it over itself. I'm going to make that a different colour. I'm going to make it pink for now and just reduce the opacity. There you can see these shapes can fit over each other nicely. And I'm just going to select the bottom pixels and bring them up to meet it. So in the Genshin Impact one, there was a fancy little shape here. That would have been probably done by just manipulating these. So using the pen, having the pen tool selected, if you hold Alt, you get this little, and hover over the point, you get this little angle tool. Keep on holding Alt and you can edit the curves there quite nicely. Ours is different, but let's just keep that difference for now. If we didn't want this to be a corner, we just mash it up. it's snapping to the guide, which is annoying there. If that was the situation, I'd probably clean that up too. Okay, whatever. So in the Genshin one, again, there's a watermark type pattern in the background. I'm just going to make something really quickly to act as a watermark. Okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to drop it in as a brush, just to make a pattern brush, just to make a quick thing, and then cast that onto we'll try it on a polygon. Oh, it looks way too military. That's not really what I had in mind. I think if this was upright and the pattern would look quite different. It's a bit better. So obviously with a pattern applied to a shape, you can play with the shape and get some pretty funky patterns quite easily. Circle, apply the pattern. It's pretty effective, right? There you go, you've got two nice, lovely variants. I'm going to take that. I think that's beautiful. So I will duplicate it so I've got the original, and I'm going to expand appearance of that. That's going to turn that back into shapes. I'm going to do the Pathfinder thing there, just to bake them in. Paste that in. Shape layer. Okay, so this is getting a little confusing with our, we want to make these things all in one group. It's just called tile for now. I'm going to make it green. We've got the watermark, we've got our background. I'm going to fade that out, so that's 23, and I'm going to make that more opaque. Bring the lightness up, keep it light still. Okay, I'm going to bring in some text, just copy that, dragged it down. It's way too big, obviously, and the colors. Alright, you have to bear in mind what size screen it's going to be on. You can bring your text box right in, so you know that's how much space you've got, and you can instantly see that's any text on there is going to have to be quite tiny to incorporate any word bigger than a small word. Particularly, you always want to give your text some breathing space. Let's just call that item name. Ah, I've got caps on. And we want a little placeholder item in there for now. I'm going to try and find that potion that we did previously. I've done quite a few of these now. Can't actually see it. UI potion, there it is. It's just booting up, so I can copy the artwork from the other one. There it is. Okay. So I'm just going to make a smart object out of that and drag it in to my game mockup. Okay, so it's got a lot of white space around the smart object. I'm just going to go in and sort that out. I don't want that, so I can just go image trim transparent pixels. Okay, that's left the shadow in. I hope it hasn't cropped the shadow, but we'll see. Okay, save. Okay, we want that behind this board so the item doesn't obscure the name. So obviously you can make a copy of these. If it was the same smart object, that it will change, but I chose to make a copy. What does it actually say in the long way round? New smart object via copy, which means it's independent, but it is a smart object as well. So I could change the color of it in here, maybe with a tint, hue and saturation layer. Save it and close it. And then I'll have a blue one. You just want quick variation for now. I know it doesn't look good particularly, but for now you just need some assets, so let's just bung them in. I don't like the cork changing color though, so I'm going to just sort that out. Put a layer mask on the saturation layer. Yeah, I'll have to change the blue one now. Okay, it's got a layer mask on there, just with the brush. Just brush it out. So the watermark's not really inspiring me at the moment on these ones, but what could be a possibility if you actually not hung up on the item at this point is you could make the whole tile a smart object. Oops, wrong shortcut. So my first red tile is now a smart object. There's actually no need to keep these hanging out here now, but that would mean that if I had a nice grid of all the same smart object, if I then wanted to, let's just say for example, I want to get rid of the potion in that one and just have, let's get the potion out of this one. So I don't have the advantage of it not clipping the name. I can't layer it. I would have to, apply a little mask to that or something, which has its disadvantages, obviously. It's not as nice. And I want it to move. It's actually snapping, so I don't actually want that snapping. That means I can't move it so exactly, which was going to annoy me. So now I can have the items separate. I didn't make a new copy. Anyway, the idea with having all the tiles connected, all being smart objects, then if you have a sudden change of heart, you want to make the watermark lighter or change the background color, you just do it to one tile, and they will all change. So this is a little bit too opaque. I'm gonna make it less opaque. For now, I'm gonna actually bump that back up. Make it black for now. Actually, I want to apply some effects to the watermark. Inner glow, just set to normal for now. And put the opacity up, and then bring the fill down, and you have the sort of inner glow up here, which can be really nice. I like the noise actually. Never used to, but it can give it some nice variance. So go back to having that a grey at 52. I was just going to drag the effect on top. I want to see what it looks like. Well, the transparency is not clear because we need a picture in the background, so go to our friends Unsplash. Beautiful images here, so just borrow this from Vincent here. Thanks, Vincent. It's beautiful, man. It's absolutely stunning. Paste that into the background. And I'm going to make that a smart object. Apply a filter. I'm going to go to the blur gallery. I don't need to, just apply a Gaussian blur. Just make them one layer for now. P tool means you can edit if you've got the pen tool selected, it means you can edit the options much more easily. You can select your colors much more easily. Okay, so actually I want that inner shadow, inner glow effect from my tile. So I'm going to go in here again, select the layer I want and go copy layer style and come back here and actually paste that onto my button. I'm going to bring the fill back up a bit. So, you said you wanted a clean one, so a clean UI, so I'm going to reduce the noise. It's still nice to have the semblance of sort of translucency. It's a cheap way to do it, maybe. So now, say I like this style of button, I can go copy shape attributes and paste shape attributes, and I'll start getting the same. I can drag and drop the layer style as well. I can alt drag it and drop it and it will copy it, or I can click on it and say copy layer style as well. So this is fill 55 and this is set to fill 100, so it's obviously not pasted everything. In the appearance, there's limits to what it will copy over. So I think that covers some of the basics. We want obviously more of these tiles. They're not. And then presumably one of these is selected. A cheap way of doing that would just be to pop a stroke on it. It's pretty cheap, pretty quick way of doing it. Stick a So the problem with that is it fills the background. It's as if the stroke has given it a background color, which is not what we want here. So it might be better to do it a different way, which would be to copy that particular layer in that way I described earlier, which was the smart object, new smart object via copy, which you should probably set up a shortcut for because it's fiddly to find. I'm going to give that one a little color code because it's my selected layer. Now I'm probably going to find this is, it's not even an artboard. Okay, it's on a canvas. I want to make the canvas a bit bigger now because I need a stroke around it. Just going to give myself 2%. Oh, that didn't go as planned. I want it to be centered still. That should be centered. Pixels. I should just go for back to percent and not click relative. Still not centered, which is annoying. Anyway, that's what that does. Nah, still wrong. Anyway, you want it to be central, otherwise it's really going to mess up the layout probably. You'll have to manually place it anyway. I'm just going to apply that to this layer, give it a stroke, so it doesn't fill the outside, fill the inside, sorry. Save that, go back to our original one. Making a whole load of variants. We're using that smart object via copy. I mean, you could do it with layers out in the main comp, but it's going to get very messy with all the different hue shifts all interfering with each other. So this is probably a better way to do it. Oh, it's too similar. Yeah, anyway, obviously you're gonna have to have better than this. Bottles of potion. You're obviously going to have to do better, but yeah, you get the idea. We'd have swords, lances. Selected item. Well, you've got your nice smart object, so scaling it up isn't such an issue. Then I guess you're gonna have your stats and ratings and whatnot down here, and a bit of info about. Don't know why I'm mucking around with this. It's ridiculous. But yeah. So again, where's that nice watermark? We could bring that again in different areas. So here is a shape, so I'll just drag that into the other one since it's already in here. I don't know what that error was. It's when Photoshop just pretends it doesn't know what you're talking about. What? You want me to move that thing? we're sort of done. So I hope this has been I hope this has been helpful.